see sports and the Olympics, a long-standing partnership. Again, at the Winter Games of Calgary, the Olympic tradition continues. Hello, I'm Jim McKay. Well, there are just 7 days left to us in Calgary, 7 days in February that'll contain as many exciting and unexpected events as the days that have gone before. In just a few minutes, for example, Bonnie Blair of Champaign, Illinois, will toe the mark in speed skating. At that moment, we won't be able to help thinking of the tragedy of Dan Jansen or the triumph of young Eric Flame last week and wondering what lies in store for little Bonnie, who's favored to win a medal, possibly even gold tonight. The emotions continue to ebb and flow. Susie Semanick is preparing for her appearance in ice dancing tonight, remembering her fall in yesterday's compulsory while doing a waltz. It's something that just doesn't happen, but it happened in these Olympics. And tonight, she and her partner, Scott Gregory, will be facing, among others, the Soviet favorites, Bestemianova and Bukin. They are to ice dancing what their teammates, Gordieva and Brinkhoff, were to the pairs competition last week. There was a terrific ski race today in the women's giant slalom at Nakiska. We'll see that tonight. And we'll also have coverage of the men's 4x10-kilometer cross-country relay race. Believe me, after you see that, you'll understand once and for all that cross-country is not just a quiet slide through the woods. In short, it really shapes up as an extremely busy and productive night. So now to the Bonnie Blair story.
The 15th Olympic Winter Games. Brought to you by Northwest Airlines, the airline that serves over 220 cities and 20 countries on 3 continents. Maxwell House, coffee that's good to the last drop. Plymouth, at Plymouth, we do it right. And Kodak Batteries, the official batteries of the 1988 Olympic Games.
And now, immediately, we're going live to the Saddle Dome. Susan Wynne and Joseph Druar of the United States, 11th after the compulsory dances of yesterday, are about to perform their original set pattern. Dick Button is standing by there.
Jim, what we're seeing is the original set pattern.
Right.
It's called that because the skaters skate a pattern around the rink. Once they've done it, those steps are etched in stone. They repeat the same pattern. That's why it's called a set pattern. And it's called original set pattern because that dance is of their own design. They originated it, and it's the way they have of showing their unique contribution in ice dancing, in compulsory ice dancing. It doesn't come out of a rule book like the compulsory dances did that we saw yesterday, the Killian, the Paso Doble, and the Viennese Waltz. All of these dancers, by the way, must perform this dance to the tango. That's why it's called the original set pattern, Tango.
For each Olympics, a particular style of music is adopted. It isn't always the tango. This year it's the tango. And here are Susan Wynne and Joseph Druar, silver medalists in the United States National Championships this year.
Creating around the rink. And here they come to the end of the pattern and start the repeat. That wonderful instrument that you hear is called the bandoneones. It's an Argentine accordion, which has the definitive sound of the tango.
whatever tango they want.
Oh, that's a very beautiful move. Second repetition, and this the conclusion of the dance.
And yet to come are the leaders, Bestemianova and Bukin of the Soviet Union, their teammates Klimova and Ponomarenko, and the Canadians Tracy Wilson and Robert McCall. They're 1, 2, 3 at the end of the compulsory. Of course, we'll be seeing Susie Semanick and Scott Gregory of the United States also. It's live. It's at the Saddle Dome. We're still at the Olympics. There are Susan Wynne and Joseph Druar looking at their scores, which range from 4-9 to 5-2. 4-9 from Hungary and France, and now their second set of marks, ranging again 4-9 to 5-2. Good marks, but they're not going to move them up too much in the standings.
It's very difficult to move forwards and backwards in this because there are no great individual athletic moves which can create a great impression or a great mark down if you miss them.
Now the brother and sister from Canada. They grew up in Calgary, and everybody they ever knew is there tonight. Kathryn and Rod Garossino, 12th after the compulsory.
Now this is really, in a sense, what is called a softer tango. It's less hard-edged. It's less explicit than some of the ones that we have seen. To cross the center line of the ice. Neither are they allowed to double back over their own pattern in loops or to create a repeat of the ice that they have already used. That they're staying in dance positions all the way through, whether it's a foxtrot position or a closed or a tango or an open or a closed position.
This to count for 20% of their total mark. Compulsory's yesterday 30%, and tomorrow's free dance 50%.
Of their dance. Those moves are after the pattern is complete.
The Garossinos of Canada. Family and friends have been waiting a long time to give them this ovation. All part of what goes to make up an Olympics. And we'll be back here after this ABC News brief and a word from your local station. We just saw a skate a couple of minutes ago were 4-9 to 5-1 in the first set of marks, 4-8 to 5-2 on the second set of marks. And just in case you weren't with us earlier, Bonnie Blair of Champaign, Illinois, set a new world record in the 500 meters women's speed skating tonight and won a gold medal for the United States. The United Battle Dome, where the original set pattern is underway. Now, backstage, that's Scott Gregory, who has been suffering with a very bad back. He's been very courageous through the U.S. Championships, the compulsories yesterday. His partner, Susie Semanick, she's the one who fell yesterday. Scott is not wearing a brace tonight for the first time. Now, this was in the waltz, which should be very simple, and suddenly they went down. It was a really very embarrassing, very dramatic thing that happened. Now, watch the skates. This is what happened. The skates touched, caught, the toe picks caught, and down they went. There were 60 performances in all yesterday during the compulsories. There was only one fall, and that was it, and Susie Semanick could do that about 1,000 times, and it would never happen again. However, they're a very interesting young couple, Susie Semanick and Scott Gregory. Why don't we meet them right now up close and personal? Susie and Scott. Scott Gregory has had 3 skating partners during 17 years in the sport. But Susie Semanick is more than just a skating partner. She and Scott have a good thing going.
Susie's brought a new spark to my life. 4 years ago, I was just at the '84 Olympics, and I didn't know whether or not I wanted to continue amateur skating. When we partnered up together, she got me going again, started my engines, you know, changed my oil, and
Susie and Scott spend most of their time together, whether it's training in Wilmington, Delaware, or visiting with one another's family and friends. Both have very strong family ties, and they try to get home as often as possible.
My home is really Bridgeville, Pennsylvania, where my family and I come to get together finally. But I've been training in Delaware the past 3 years, living with a great family, and I'm finally moving into my own apartment, my very first, and I'm so excited. Well, I always say I'm going to go home and relax, but as soon as my mom and I and my dad get together, we just start hitting everything. We're always creating or doing things, shopping, and we like to go to flea markets, and we like to buy like old clothing and material. It's fun because we're able to create ideas with these old things we find and make them our own by putting our own ideas into it.
The whole flower would be outlined in these.
Mother Rose Semanick makes all the pairs' costumes, and everything they wear on the ice here in Calgary is made from vintage clothing which she redesigned.
I'd like to see more of a scallop, though. See, if it was...
Scott's roots are only about 200 miles northwest of Susie's in a place called Skaneateles, New York.
it's a homey town. Population's like 3,000. Growing up here on the lake, something that I wish every kid could do. Every time I go away, I appreciate it more and more. I want to be a part of it. Sometime later on in my life, I want to come back and do something here. I want to somehow get a career in photography going. The thing I enjoy most about photography is the challenge of being creative. I have a lot of goals in my life that I want to achieve, and I'm going to do my darndest to achieve them. Susie and I have committed to each other through our skating, and then in turn our personal lives have committed to each other. I would like to stay with Susie for the rest of our skating career and possibly our whole life.
So they may keep the home fire burning together once they've set the world on fire in Calgary. And there they are. That's the live picture as they are warming up for their performance here this evening. In 6th place after the compulsory dances, despite that fall. Perhaps they can move up a little bit tonight. That's what's in their minds, you can be sure, after this word from our local station.
The thrill of competition continues. It's the 15th Olympic Winter Games as ABC's coverage continues. Once again, here's Jim McKay.
Well, this has certainly not been a Blue Monday so far for the United States. Bonnie Blair won a gold medal in speed skating, if you weren't with us earlier. Now we're into the ice dancing, and here are Susie Semanick and Scott Gregory of the United States. Scott Gregory's doctor, speaking of the speed with which he came back from his bad back, said, I'll tell you something, Scott Gregory out-Montana'd Joe Montana. And tonight, we understand he is skating without a brace for the first time since he's been here, except for last night's practice.
From the United States, Suzanne Semanick and Scott Gregory.
The United States champion.
And these steps, Jim, are part of the total picture that they are conveying of this dance. The dance hasn't started yet, and there will be introductory moves. All of this is part of it.
Skating to the Tango, but Tango is that they themselves have selected.
Isn't that nice? You know, Jim, I didn't want to interrupt the flow of the dance to explain that they have to stay in those dance positions throughout the entire dance. They can even use a variety of dance positions, opening and closing and foxtrot and tango and whatever, but it has to look like a ballroom dance, and that's what this does. There are no small separations, no jumps, no little lifts that we'll see in the freestyle, and there's but just a marvelous feeling throughout the whole thing. And one other thing about them, they have really come together beautifully in the last year. Their styles used to be disparate. She was intense and very powerful, and he a happy-go-lucky guy. And you don't see that today. Now they act as one. Very nice.
And no fall tonight.
No.
Far from it.
Wasn't it good? Look at the intensity on her face. You know, at one time, I asked them what they thought of each other. He said of her, she's intense and goal-oriented and sincere and cute. And she said of him, he's patient, happy-go-lucky, and very handsome. I guess that tells you their story.
It does. The first set of marks, 5-3 to 5-6.
Presentation et notre présentation. 5.5, 5.6, 5.5.
Second set,
5.3, 5.5.
5-3 to 5.6. Tomorrow night, you'll see them live once again in their free skating program. And now down to David.
Susie, after yesterday's freak fall, did you have to fight the urge to skate cautiously tonight?
I had to fight the urge to distribute my energy very evenly instead of all at once and then blowing it. Because it was really easy for me to go crazy. So Scott was really good in just monitoring my thing, so it was a little harder than usual.
Well, after tonight's performance, you still have a good chance for the top 5.
Thank you very much.
In fact, they are the leaders of those who have skated so far, but the leaders, the top 3, are yet to come. This is Leah Trovati and Roberto Pelizzola of Italy, 10th after the compulsories yesterday.
Now, I think, Jim, that you'll see that this dance is a little more of the obvious or sort of ordinary kind of tango dance that we've seen in past years. It's less creative than some of the more adventurous dances, or certainly some of the more point-of-view dances that we'll see as the better dancers come onto the ring. One of the things that you'll note is these dancers are moving rather slowly around the ice. All of them are, in order to get in a maximum number of intriguing dance steps and moves in the tango tense.
Leah Trovati and Roberto Pelizzola of Italy, both from Milan. We'll take a break and come back. There's a lot more of this. Back and on the ice, Isabelle and Paul Duchesnay, a brother and sister. They're from Quebec, but they're participating, representing France here. He was born in France. It's a dual citizenship thing. Dick, I understand that in recent competitions, this pair, or couple, has been dazzling the world with a very different style.
Jim, the important thing about, let me get to that later, this dance is the most intriguing, humorous, deadpan of all the tangos. It's wonderful. controversy, and this couple just is surrounded by controversy throughout their whole dance life.
Because they're very different. They're 8th after the compulsory.
Look at this step.
Wow. Well, they represent France, but they're from Quebec, Canada. Everybody there knows it. Where do you see them free skate tomorrow night?
And that's a standing ovation. Look at that.
Yep.
Everything about this pair just great. They seem to attract controversy like a bee to honey.
But how are the judges going to receive them? All right, let's take a break. We'll find out what their marks are when we return. Now, the first set of marks had a tremendously wide spread from 5-1 to 5-7, and here we are this time from 5-3 to 5-8. The United States judge giving them a 5-8 there. So it seems like the judges don't really agree on how to mark them, Dick.
There's a lot of differential in that kind of dancing. For example, there was a break in the music. Some of the judges, I'm sure, even thought that the rule saying that there shall be no break were violated there. The problem is that they counted that break as part of the music. You can count silence as a beat in the music. That's the differential. That's where it comes from. This pair was just wonderful. These ice dancers were brilliant.
Well, they've moved into second place among those who have skated. Semanick and Gregory of the United States are still the leaders, but the earlier leaders are yet to come. This is Klára, Engi, and Attila Tóth of Hungary, 7th after the compulsory.
Far more predictable, a plain tango. Certainly does not have the character or the completion that the Duchesnays had.
Well, they were one place ahead of the Duchesnays after the compulsories. It'll be interesting to see if they drop back.
Remember, there are all kinds of tangos. There's the sort of silly, smoldering parody that we see on Carol Burnett's show, and then there's the very sexy one that we see with male domination and female submissiveness. The best kind of tango is one which is a combination of a male and female working together, almost a tango. One of the rules is that neither skater can leave the ice at any time. There's a particularly fascinating move where she hangs on by a hair.
Klára Engi and Attila Tóth of Hungary.
You know, Jim, tangos really are about a relationship between a man and a woman. Sometimes they can be sharp, and sometimes they can be smooth and sensitive and sensual. It's really the variety is what makes it so wonderful.
Okay, another break, and we'll be back. And now back in the arena, the marks for Engi and Tóth of Hungary, 5-3 to 5-5, and then 5-3 to 5-4, and they stay ahead of the Duchesnays. in the overall standing. Here we have Antonia and Ferdinand Becherer. They are twins from West Germany, 9th after the compulsories.
Now, one thing you'll notice about this dance, Jim, is that they kind of don't complete the rule that both skaters must be equal in dance ability. He does a lot of two-foot skating in this dance, while she does the more difficult work.
Still to come, all of the lead couples, including Bestemianova and Bukin of the Soviet Union, the favorites. And they are something to watch.
See him on a number of two-foot edges there.
Antonia there is 10 minutes older than her twin brother, Ferdinand.
Actually, she's also quite tall. She's 5'7", he's 6'1". That makes for a very attractive and elegant dance couple.
Well, they were 7th in last year's World Championship. Backstage, B&B as they are known, Bestemianova and Bukin. They are the favorites. They are the leaders. They are absolutely marvelous to watch. Their turn will come tonight and, of course, tomorrow night in the free dance final. Just about a capacity crowd in the big Saddle Dome. Holds almost 20,000 people. That's where you've been watching hockey. Tonight it's skating. Standing by for their marks, the Becherers. Leaders at the moment still Semanick and Gregory of the United States.
Marks for Antonia, Becherer, Ferdinand, Becherer for composition. They know for composition.
Marks coming up.
5.3, 5.0, 5.3, 5.3.
There they are. 5-0 from Canada. And a couple of 5-4s from Austria and Great Britain. That's the first set for composition.
5.2, 5.4, 5.3,
These marks were certainly not as high as some of the previous ones we've seen. I think we'll see some moving around here.
Well, they were 9th coming in.
5.4, 5.3.
And here we go from 5.2 to 5.4. And that puts them in 5th place. We'll be right back. Well, there they are, Natalia, Bestemianova, and Andrei Bukin, the favorites here. They're from the Soviet Union. And they seem very relaxed, and with good reason, because they've had a wonderful time, not only in Calgary, but in its environs, in a little place called Okotoks. It was a love affair. There was a love affair near Calgary just before the games began. A love affair between a small town called Okotoks and some athletes far from home. The athletes were the figure skaters from the Soviet Union. They had selected Okotoks as a quiet place to train, but they didn't anticipate the way the townspeople would turn out to watch them train or how friendly everyone would be. But there was instant rapport between the skaters and the spectators. Natalia Bestemianova and Andrei Bukin are the favorites in ice dancing in these Olympics. And they were favorites in Okotoks. The feeling was mutual.
People here so hospitality, so nice for us.
Friendly for us, very friendly.
Yes.
When we walk on the street, a lot of people on the car, in the car say hello, hello, and it's right for us. It's very good feels for us.
Everywhere B&B, as they are called, went in Okotoks, they found friendliness. They've won in the big cities, Tokyo, Geneva, Cincinnati, but their home video camera recorded very special memories in Okotoks. Natalia isn't the most skilled camera person in town. We think we have most of those. But her work will suffice as a poignant memory of a special time. Andre will show them to his wife and son back home in Moscow. The quiet time in Okotoks. The time when there was time to shop for souvenirs. Time to contemplate the fact that really we're all the same behind the national symbols.
I think it's never mind what kind of nationals, Canadian or Russian. Every people live in worlds.
It's just a small town story of a quiet love affair. A little bit of glasnost in Okotoks, it would seem. We'll be right back for the competition. We've returned again live to the Saddle Dome. The first couple in this group will be Kathryn and Christoph Beck, another brother and sister team. They're from Vienna. Skated their waltz yesterday. We're right at home. Here's the starting order for the final group here, the Beck and Beck, the brother and sister from Austria. Then the second place team of Klimova and Ponomarenko from the Soviet Union, and the fourth place Soviets. Then Bestemianova and Bukin, the leaders in the competition, followed finally by Wilson and McCall from Canada, who are in third place coming to the night. So many possibilities here. Here are the Becks.
And they skate a very extroverted dance. They don't really play to each other, but more to the audience. She kind of flirts with the audience.
They're fifth after the compulsories, one place ahead of Semanick and Gregory, who at the moment are still the leaders tonight.
She also is clearly the more adventurous skater. He kind of sort of follows along.
Both students at the University of Vienna. He's a law student, in fact.
This tango has a particularly strong melodic line, very marchy in feeling. Certainly a dance with less of the uninhibited emotions that we've seen in some of the other dances.
The Becks.
That was really, a very nice dance. It was a traditional tango. It did not break any of the rules and regulations of the sport or even come close to stretching them, but it was nice.
We'll be back then after this word from our local station. We're back again. First set of mark for the Becks, 5-4 to 5-7. The American judge giving them the 5-7. American judge has been marking high. Each judge can mark in whatever scale at once. So the Becks have now moved ahead of Semanick and Gregory of the United States into the lead of those who have skated so far. bringing us to the second place team, Marina Klimova and Sergei Ponomarenko of the Soviet Union, bronze medalists 4 years ago in Sarajevo. Since then, always skating slightly in the shadow of their teammates, Bestemianova and Bukin.
She is beautiful. If Anna Karenina were to do a tango with Vronsky, this might be it. Superlative dancing.
Klimova and Ponomarenko of the Soviet Union.
Oh, and Jim, in my book, that was exquisite. They're like an aristocratic Russian couple who simply have never been to Spain but know the rhythm of the tango. Those movements, elegant, smooth, a pathos involved in it.
And now
Simply
backstage.
superb.
Backstage, B&B, Bestemianova and Bukin. Let's take a break and not miss a thing. We'll be back. We're back. There's the first set of marks. All 5/8 except for a 5/9 from France. Outstanding marks.
And knowing that there are still 2-3 more dancers to come, those are marks that allow plenty of room for others to come higher. But I think that, in my opinion, certainly they were brilliant. There's a lot of controversy about which is better, the sort of more frantic, complicated style of Bestemianova and Bukin, or the more elegant, romantic, and flowing style of this couple. I think you make your choice, you take your pick.
Except for 1/5/7 there, they were all 5/8s and 5/9s on the second set of marks. So, as you would imagine, they take the lead among those who have skated so far, followed by the Becks and Semanick and Gregory. Now, Annenko and Sretensky, another Soviet pair, in fourth place after the compulsories. Both from Moscow. They were fourth in last year's World Championship.
And once again, you see a very kind of reserved and almost cool kind of approach. The look of this dance is wonderful.
fourth-place itis. They've been fourth in the last 2 World Championships. Fourth here so far, still trying to crack that medal position.
Very nice. Really, they are marvelous dancers also. They, along with Klimova and Ponomarenko and the Bestemianova and Bukin, represent an extremely powerful Soviet ice dancing team.
What you're seeing tonight, the OSP, tomorrow the free dance, and we'll be back.
5.7, 5.7.
First set of marks, all 5.7s, except for 1 5.6 from the American judge.
5.8, 5.7, 5.7. 5.8.
And he's happy.
These marks clearly indicate, I think, that they are not as high as Klimova and Ponomarenko in the judges' opinion, and that they will come behind them.
Well, they are. They have that on the computer. They are second behind Klimova and Ponomarenko right now, but now the leaders. Believe me, these are the best.
And I think here we're going to see a dance which is almost an angry tango. It's almost as though she should have a knife between her teeth as she goes through this routine. But the pattern extremely satisfying. There is her coach, Tatiana Tarasova. Look at the tempestuous character that she plays.
Silver medalist 4 years ago, going for the gold.
Remember, these are the introduction to the dance. It starts here.
Fernando's Hideaway.
Good Twizzler, as they call it in ice dancing. Fast turns. Very quick. Right there. strength. That dance is almost a catharsis rather than a dance. I think what makes them so powerful and so first rate is the strength of their skating. The edge is powerful, really strong. They can move with enormous speed what they want to. The positions are fast, dynamic. They project enormously. And of course, all their dance positions culled out of the world of ice, compulsory ice dances, just put it all together for them. These moves, not the actual part of the dance. You can see the way she projects. Almost, it's more of a stereotyped kind of tango
Right, here come the
some
marks.
of the more different ones that we've seen.
Sorry, Dick. Here are the first set of marks. All 5.9 straight across the board.
5.9.
Coach Tarasova with them there. A lot of those shouts and applause, you can be sure, from their friends in the village of Okotoks.
5.9.
Another set to come.
Marks for presentation.
Here again.
Another roar.
See it.
Look
You
at
can
this.
see a 6-0 at the end there. From France.
There it is.
5.9.
First 6 we've seen in these Olympics.
5.9. 6.0.
Well, their English is getting better all the time. Let's go down to David, see if he can have a word with him.
Natalia, is there anything you'd like to tell your friends at Okotoks now?
Yes, it was good practice in Okotoks, and we have good feeling from this small town, and we take this
Representing Canada.
with us twice.
Well, it's great marks.
Well, that's why the roar. These are the Canadians who are in 3rd place, possibly headed for a bronze medal in this competition.
And this dance will be totally different than any of the others.
We've seen the first 6.0 in anything involving 2 people on the ice. Brian Orser did have 1.
Wonderful.
Tracy Wilson and Rob McCall. And we'll be back.
5.7, 5.8.
We're back. There's the first set of marks. 2 5.7s, everything else 5.8s.
5.8.
They've had their standing ovation from the crowd in the Saddle Dome. Now the marks from the judges.
And rightfully so, Jim. They were wonderful. They were original, quite different from the others. Not at all the sexy, sensual kind of dance, but just something that they get turned on by their own performance for. Look at these marks.
Okay, let's do that. Let's have a look at them. 5'8", 5'9", 5'8", 5'7", 5'8", 5'8", 5'8", 5'8", and 5'9" from France.
And it moves them into third place.
Yes, it does.
Oh, that's nice.
Now let's take a look at the standings after the second of 3 nights of competition. If you like this tonight, make plans to be with us for the free dance tomorrow night. That'll be live also. You saw that the Soviet teams were first and second, the Canadians third. Semanick and Gregory of the United States still in 6th place, but 50% of the mark is on the line tomorrow night. Conceivably, they could move up a bit.
Don't forget the extraordinary situation of the Duchesnays in 8th place.
Giving you the results, hopefully, of the OSP and the combined results of the compulsory dance. I think we're almost ready to go.
Rob McCall, 28 years old. His skating partner, Tracy Wilson, 26. She was born in Quebec. He's from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. They were 8th just 4 years ago. They were in 8th place. Now they're in 3rd with the free dance still to come. So, as I said, make your plans for tomorrow.